I broke up with my girlfriend because she told me she wanted to stay a virgin until marriage, and I respected that, but I also knew we were on different pages. Now, months later, she's reaching out, saying she misses me and wants us back together. The twist? She slept with someone else during our breakup. Suddenly, her values changed, just not for me. I'm a 23-year-old guy, and I met my ex-girlfriend, who's 21, about 3 years ago. We both lived on campus at university, but stayed in different dorms. After a few months, we started dating, and for the most part, our relationship was happy. But there was always one big issue. She came from a very religious background. Her dad's a pastor, and even though she told her family she no longer followed their faith, it was clear that their influence still stuck with her. I was raised in a different religion, but I never took it seriously and don't consider myself religious anymore. Our relationship was pretty normal, except she made it clear early on that she was a virgin and wanted to wait until marriage. It wasn't for religious reasons. Like I said, she isn't religious, but she really didn't want to disappoint her dad. We did other sexual stuff, just not intercourse. I didn't have much experience with girls before her, and I was also a virgin. Technically, I still am if you define it by never having had intercourse. Over time, though, I started to feel frustrated. All my friends seemed to be having normal sex lives, and we weren't. I couldn't fully understand why she wouldn't take that step with me, even though I never pressured her. I felt like marriage was way off since I was still a broke student. Last year was my final year at university, while she had already graduated and started her first job. Her degree was shorter, so she finished before me even though she's younger. She kept mentioning these successful guys she met at work, and it made me feel insecure. I was still broke and studying, and combined with her still not wanting sex, it made me feel even more resentful. We had some arguments, and eventually I felt like we were headed in different directions, so I ended it. It was rough, she cried a lot, and I felt terrible. It's been about 6 months since we broke up. We haven't spoken much since. I've stayed single, totally focused on finishing school, and now I'm about to start my first real job. Out of the blue, she reached out and asked to meet up. I was unsure at first, but figured we had enough good memories that it was worth hearing her out. She told me she missed me a lot over the last 6 months and wanted to get back together. She also said she was open to having a sexual relationship now. I asked her what changed, and she seemed uncomfortable. After some pressing, she admitted she had a short fling with one of the older guys at her job while we were broken up. That stung. It wasn't like she cheated. We weren't together, but it hurt to hear. She said the guy kept pursuing her until she finally gave in and slept with him. She's not with him anymore and was clear that it was all consensual, but that he had been very persistent. I couldn't wrap my head around the fact that she'd waited 3 years with me and then slept with someone new so quickly. I asked if she was only ready for sex now because she's no longer a virgin, and she said yes. I told her I needed some time to think. Now I'm conflicted. I've missed her and still care about her deeply, but I can't shake the feeling that I was strung along. On paper, it makes sense for us to get back together, and I'd finally get what I've been waiting for. But emotionally, it doesn't feel right. Something's off, and I don't want to ignore that. Some of the comments people left were really harsh on her, but I want to be clear, she's not some manipulative villain. I wouldn't have dated someone like that. She's still the same funny, smart, beautiful person I fell for, and any guy would be lucky to have her. I would too, if I could deal with the emotional baggage. But I don't think I can. Even if she regrets sleeping with the other guy, that's not my concern. We weren't together. Honestly, I never expected to hear from her again, so this has thrown me. It's hit my ego hard, and I do feel like less of a man because of it. That's something I need to deal with. The truth is, this relationship gave me some serious issues around sex that I'm still carrying. A few people have suggested I try therapy, and I think they're right. I'm going to look into it. One comment really stood out. Someone asked why she was willing to have sex with that guy so quickly, but not with me after 3 years. And that's the big question, because I still don't know. All she said was that he was persistent. I don't know if I should just text her and say it's over for good, or if I need more closure by asking a few more questions. I'm torn because I don't even know if I want the full details. A few people said I'm immature, and they're probably right. I ended things, and she had every right to move on, but it still hurts. Maybe it's just better to leave it in the past and say goodbye. I broke up with her because she wasn't willing to have sex, and now I'm seeing a lot of people say that by ending it, I made her feel like she had to sleep with someone to keep a guy. Some are even saying that it pushed her, heartbroken, into another guy's bed. A few comments say she's pregnant, not that I know of. It's not impossible, but if that's true, it has nothing to do with me. And to the guys saying I should have slept with her and then ditched her, or worse, some of you seriously need a hug or a therapist. I would never treat her like that, no matter what happened between us. Ellie and I were together for years and loved each other. That matters. Just because we broke up doesn't mean I'd ever take advantage of her. Feeling hurt doesn't justify using someone, period. As for people saying I was obsessed with her virginity, that's not it. The issue was that we weren't having sex at all, not whether she was a virgin. Her being a virgin was just her reason for choosing to be abstinent, but that in itself didn't bother me. If she hadn't been a virgin and still wanted to wait, I'd have felt the same way. For 3 years, Ellie had everything she wanted in our relationship: love, affection, loyalty, support, and a boyfriend who respected her decision to wait. But for me, something important was missing, and there was no middle ground. Either we were having sex or we weren't, and she wasn't going to change her mind. Looking back, I should have ended things early when Ellie first said she wanted to wait until marriage. But I was a naive 19-year-old and had never been in a relationship before. I really liked her, we got along so well, and I fell in love. After that, I felt stuck in a relationship that wasn't right for me. I learned a lot from this and won't make the same mistake again. I want to make active choices in future relationships, not just go with what the other person wants. Our views on sex and relationships didn't align, so I broke up with her instead of waiting around, hoping she'd change her mind. It was scary, and I put it off way too long because I didn't want to hurt her. But I couldn't stay in a relationship that wasn't working for me. I needed to think about myself too. My biggest mistake was waiting so long. It only made things harder on both of us. A lot of people said sex isn't that important, and for some, it's not. That's totally okay. But for me, it is, at least in a romantic relationship. Some people are fine without it, and that's valid too. I just know that's not what I want. Some also called me out for saying I felt strung along. Looking back, that's fair. Ellie was always honest about waiting for marriage. I was the one who stayed, thinking maybe she'd change her mind someday. She didn't, and that was on me. I strung myself along. She never misled me. It stung to hear she slept with the next guy pretty quickly, especially after I waited for so long. But she's my ex now. It's not my place to say anything. She can make her own choices, and I have no right to judge. My hurt was emotional, not logical. Logically, I know she did nothing wrong. I'll get over it. It's mostly my ego. If I'm being honest, I feel like less of a man because she took that step with someone else. I know it's not true, but it still hurts. I wasn't a perfect boyfriend, and I've made mistakes, but I've learned from them. I don't regret breaking up with Ellie. I still think it was the right move for me. That's enough background. Some stuff happened recently. Last weekend was the Australia Day long weekend, and I went camping in the Grampians. If any Aussies are reading, it was awesome being in nature, hiking with friends, and just unplugging for a while. It was nice to talk about the Ellie situation with my mates around the fire. Most of them knew her from our time together, and they had different opinions, just like the people commenting on my posts. Of course, I got the usual friendly teasing about still being a virgin. Apparently, there's a pricey bottle of scotch they bought a while ago that's getting opened when I finally lose it. Bastards, haha. One really good question a friend asked me was whether I would have reached out to Ellie if she hadn't texted me first. And honestly, the answer was a clear no. That helped clear my head. I realized I'd been too passive, just reacting to what Ellie wanted. I needed to do what I wanted. By the time we were driving home, I decided not to get back with her anyway. But that didn't matter much because as soon as I got phone signal again, no reception where we were, I got a bunch of texts from Ellie. She said she was wrong to ask me to get back together and that she's back with Tim now. She also admitted that things with Tim were more serious than she told me before. She apologized for not being upfront and called it a fling when it really wasn't. She asked if we could meet to talk. I was not happy. I just texted back no. Not super mature, I admit, but I was in the mood to hear more. I was annoyed and surprised she lied. That's not like her. She tried calling me, but I didn't answer. Then she sent another message saying, Tim and I had a fight. I shouldn't have come to you. I'm sorry. When I got home, I made the dumb decision to look up Tim. His real name isn't common, so it wasn't hard to find him on LinkedIn. That gave me his full name. Ellie's one of his connections, and he works at the same company. He's a director, one level below partner. His Instagram has lots of travel pics and posts from fancy events. He's got an expensive-looking car, and there are photos of him and Ellie with their arms around each other in Singapore back in November. So yeah, it was definitely serious. No one posts pictures like that if it's just casual. Seeing all that just made me feel worse. There's no good in comparing myself to her successful new boyfriend. She's not mine anymore, and I'm not in some contest with Tim. I'm not going to do that to myself again. My ego's taken enough hits already. I've been living like a broke college student for years. So yeah, seeing someone with money can mess with my self-esteem. That's something I need to work on. Anyway, that was Sunday. Then on Tuesday night, Ellie showed up at my door. She said she knew I didn't want to talk, but she felt bad and wanted a chance to explain everything. She said if I let her talk, I'd never have to see her again after that if I didn't want to. I wasn't happy about everything that had happened, but I let her in. I think I finally have a clearer picture of everything. It was a long, emotional conversation, over 4 hours, but here's what I remember. When we broke up, she was heartbroken. She said it took her a couple of months to start feeling okay again. She missed me constantly and wanted to see me, but we'd agreed to stay apart to heal. In September, she met Tim at work. He's on a different team. She doesn't report to him. She said he was charming, attractive, and showed interest in her right away. They got to know each other, and he eventually asked her out. She worried it might be a rebound, but liked the attention and went along with it. After a while, she caught real feelings, and eventually, they became intimate. It wasn't just a fling. They dated seriously before anything happened. I had asked before if Tim pressured her into sex. She had said he was persistent. But this time, she admitted she told me that just to spare my feelings. She thought if I believed she was hesitant, I wouldn't think poorly of her. I told her it actually made me worry she had been coerced. She looked shocked and said absolutely not. She was the one who initiated it. I told her while I didn't like that she lied, I understood her reason. She didn't do anything wrong by changing her mind about waiting. Yes, it hurt hearing she was having sex, but I have no right to judge her. She's an adult and it's her life. I don't think less of her. She broke down crying and said something like, "I thought you must hate me now." I told her I didn't. She said she was sad things didn't work out between us, and that she wouldn't have broken her virginity vow if we hadn't broken up. She had made that commitment to her dad as a kid, but after the breakup, she started rethinking it. By the time things got serious with Tim, she had already made peace with the idea of being intimate with the right person. I asked about her dad, and she just said, "He doesn't need to know." When I asked why she reached out to me, she explained Tim is older. He's 32 and been with the company 10 years. One day at work, a coworker made a snide comment to her about being another one of Tim's girls. She started digging and found out Tim has a history of dating younger coworkers, many of them fresh grads like her. Office gossip said she was just the next girl on the list. She was horrified, confronted him, and accused him of using her. They argued, and she broke up with him. Not long after, she came to me, thinking maybe we had a second chance now, that she was open to a physical relationship. But when I didn't jump at the idea and needed space, she realized she'd made a mistake. Over the weekend, Tim asked her to work things out. She agreed to give it another shot. She tried calling me, but I was camping, so she left those messages instead. So I guess that's that. I don't want her back, and she's committed to Tim again. We talked a bit about our families, and she congratulated me on finishing university. She asked if I was dating, and I told her I've just been busy with school and work, no time for dating. She laughed and called me a big nerd. She said she hopes we can be friendly if we bump into each other, but wants to stay out of contact for the sake of her relationship. I get it. She wants to give a real shot. She gave me a hug, thanked me for understanding, and left. So yeah, Ellie pulled me into her relationship drama. I wish she hadn't, but at least it's resolved now. I'm glad I trusted my gut and took time to think. If I'd taken her back right away, things could have gotten really messy. That's been the biggest lesson for me, trusting my instincts. I still care about her, even with everything that's happened. She's clearly dealing with a lot between Tim and all the gossip at work. I hope she finds happiness, whether it's with him or not. She was my first love, and I'll always have good memories of her. But I know now I don't want her back. She's part of my past. I want to focus on the future. This kind of turned into an essay. My tutors at uni always said I ramble too much. Well, forget them. I'm not a student anymore. I'm about to launch my career, and I've worked so hard to get to this point. My new job starts Monday, and I'm excited to finally gain real-world experience, not just endless theory. I'll be making better money, too. No more broke student life. Graduation's in May, and I've got that to look forward to as well. I'm open to meeting someone new, but it's not a priority. I'm not actively looking. Maybe that'll change down the line, but for now, my focus is on work. About Ellie, I made peace with our breakup months ago. When she came back, it brought up old feelings, but now I realize it was just nostalgia, not real emotion. All this drama was hers. I'd have preferred she never brought me into it. I didn't need to know about her wealthy, experienced boyfriend or their sex life. She's changed. The Ellie I knew was super honest, almost to a fault. The one I've seen recently doesn't seem like that. That's what upset me most, how different she was. But people grow. She's in the corporate world now, surrounded by different values in the religious household she grew up in. Anyway, I've stepped out of her life, and whatever happens now is her business. If she comes back again, I'll remind her we agreed to stay apart. I'm not looking to date again right now. No Tinder, and no casual hookups either. I'm still a virgin, and I want something meaningful, not just sex. Like I said before, if the right person comes along, I'm open to it. But I'm not chasing anything right now. Some people in the comments act like that last conversation was all for her. Sure, maybe she got closure from it, but so did I. Seeing who she's becoming made it crystal clear to me we'd never work out. She's changed a lot, even when we were still together. I started seeing little signs like her saying things like work hard, play hard, or being a bit colder to others. Maybe she was influenced by her environment, but she made her own choices. I love the old Ellie. I'm not sure I even like who she is now. Still, I didn't feel used or intruded upon. If anything, it gave me the closure I needed. We both agreed it's truly over now, and she promised to stay out of contact. If she ever breaks that, I'll remind her of that promise and move on. Update 2. If you follow my posts, you'll remember my ex Ellie and I agreed to go no contact after some drama. On her end, thanks to advice from Reddit. I also blocked her to maintain no contact. I've been working as a graduate engineer since February, and it's been everything I expected. I'm meeting incredible, smart people and learning so much every day. Plus, I'm finally earning a salary after years of being a broke student. Having some money in the bank and being able to enjoy things like eating out is such a refreshing change. When I graduated in November, I moved in with my brother temporarily. He'd just broken up with his ex and needed help with his rent. That's where I was living when Ellie last came to visit. My brother found a new housemate, and since his place was too far from my job, I moved into a shared house in the southeast of Melbourne. The house is a bit run down, but the rent is reasonable by Melbourne standards, and there are lots of pubs, bars, and restaurants nearby. The location and my housemates are great. I'm seeing someone now, Olivia, not her real name. She's the sister of one of my housemates. We met when my housemates and I had a barbecue, and she dropped by. We started talking and kept talking for hours until everyone else left. Her brother jokingly told us to shut up so he could get some sleep. I asked her out that week, and we've been close ever since. My housemate, SW, her brother, has been teasing us nonstop, making crude jokes whenever she stays over. We decided to be exclusive 6 weeks ago, so it's still pretty new. She's amazing, cool, smart, and gorgeous. The chemistry between us was instant and intense. We just clicked so well. Olivia works as an accountant at a big firm. One of her coworkers threw a party last month and invited me to meet some of her friends. There were probably 40 or 50 people there, and I didn't know anyone except Olivia. At one point, I offered to grab more drinks, and the kitchen was in a separate room. While I was getting them, a guy asked me to pass him a beer from the fridge. I introduced myself, and he said, "Hi, I'm Tim." We talked for a couple minutes about our jobs and how we knew Jess. I didn't recognize him at first, but I could tell it was Ellie's Tim. His job and firm matched, and he seemed to be in his 30s, a bit older than most people at the party. We didn't mention Ellie. Later, I asked Jess how she knew Tim, and she said she used to work at the same firm as him and Ellie, but she'd moved to another company, the one Olivia works for. It's a small world sometimes, even in a city of 5 million. On the tram ride home, I must have been quiet because Olivia asked what was on my mind. I told her that Tim at the party was either my ex's boyfriend or maybe still is. I said I didn't think Tim knew who I was, or if he did, he didn't say anything. I ended up telling Olivia a bit about my history with Ellie. Olivia was surprised and laughed, saying, "I didn't know you were a virgin." Then she joked, "Well, we fixed that." She asked if I still had any feelings for Ellie, and I honestly said no. I had dealt with that months ago. A few days ago, there was a charity dinner that Olivia's employer sponsored. She was excited to show me off. We sat at a table with some of her coworkers, who were really nice. One of Olivia's friends was so excited to meet me because she couldn't stop talking about me. That felt great. After dinner, a few of us were chatting, and suddenly I felt a tap on my shoulder. I turned around, and to my surprise, it was Ellie, with Tim right beside her. It was weird seeing her again. Tim said he remembered meeting me at the party, but didn't make the connection until now. I guess Ellie had told him about me. Ellie looked very different. She had lost a lot of weight and was wearing a tight red dress, which made it obvious. She looked a lot slimmer than when I last saw her. Her makeup and expensive jewelry made her look like a totally different person, more like a sleek, rich girl. She looked amazing, but she didn't look like the Ellie I used to know. Despite all her glam, I didn't feel anything when I saw her. Ellie was happy to see me and showed off a big diamond engagement ring. It looked pretty expensive. I congratulated her and Tim, and just then, Olivia walked over. I introduced her to Ellie and Tim, and Olivia put her arm around me. Ellie's smile froze for a second. I didn't know what else to say, so I just said, "Nice to see you again," and wished them well with the wedding. Tim walked off, and Ellie just stood there, awkwardly. Later, as we were leaving, I noticed Ellie staring at us. Olivia said, "I think she still has feelings for you." I told her it didn't matter. A few days ago, my brother messaged me saying Ellie had stopped by looking for me. He knew not to share my new address with her, so all he told her was that I had moved out. The next day, I got an email from a new address I didn't recognize. It was from Ellie. She didn't acknowledge breaking our agreement to keep no contact and didn't mention stopping by my old place. She just said it was great seeing me again and asked how serious I was with Olivia. She also mentioned that she and Tim have big plans for their wedding next year and hoped I could attend. I was annoyed. She was trying to make her life my business again, despite promising no contact. She even went through the trouble of creating a new email address to get around me blocking her. I showed Olivia the email, and she rolled her eyes, asking me to think about why Ellie would send that. Olivia is great at reading people, and I could tell Ellie wanted me for emotional support again, or maybe things are rocky with Tim. Who knows? Either way, it's not happening. Ellie has family and friends she can talk to. I deleted the email and blocked the address without replying. Ellie promised no contact, but she just couldn't help herself. I'm keeping my word about no contact, even if she can't. I've set up a filter to send any email with her name straight to the trash. Olivia and I talked about it afterward. I asked if she was worried about Ellie, but she said no. She didn't get any creepy vibes from Ellie. I'm glad none of this has affected my relationship with Olivia. It's been nothing too dramatic, but it shows that you guys were right. Ellie couldn't resist contacting me. At least this time, I've been able to handle it much better than before. Ultimately, this is a good news story. Life is amazing right now. I've got a great girlfriend, a fun place to live, and a career I love. It's been easy to leave Ellie behind. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do so and hit the notification bell to stay updated with more real-life stories.